Hello, everyone. Hello.
We're back.
Yes, welcome back. My name is Mare.
And I'm Diana.
Welcome back to Reality Check Podcast, where tea is served and checks are dispersed. Yeah, so we are here to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7 Reunion Part Number 2. Yes.
Before we get into that, I thought that it would be fun to give an homage, if you will, to the Queen, Miss Nene Leakes.
Okay.
And I thought that we could play a very quick game of Are They Known or Are They Famous?
Oh my God. Seriously, this is it? Like, you know, you said Nene, and I was like, okay, here we go. What's going to happen now?
So really quickly, Marilyn, I'm going to give you a few people, and then you have to tell me whether or not they are known or whether they are famous. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So should we come to a definition of like what is known and what is famous before we start?
I think that would be highly, highly important. Yes, it would be.
Okay, cool. So how would you define known versus famous?
Okay, I'll start with famous, right? Famous is like you could go to another country and people know who you are, right? Like, for example, remember like that whole thing with Candy and Marlo talking about like if I walk into Paris, like they'll know like me. Yeah. And Candy is like, I'm worldwide. Like, right. Like, to be famous is legit to be worldwide. Like, for example, Tom Cruise is famous. Like, he's not going to go to any country except for countries that don't watch his movies, which is going to be a very small number of countries, but he's going to be known, right? Like, he's going to be he's famous, right? Beyonce is, obviously like, famous.
Right.
So that's famous. Fame is having to walk into spaces and not having to be questioned about who you are. They know who you are, right?
There you go. Yeah, I would agree. Definitely. I would agree. Someone, I was listening to someone's podcast this week and I really like their example. If you can walk into a grocery store and people will not disturb you, then you are famous. I'm sorry.
You're known.
Don't disturb you, then you are, excuse me. You know what I mean? Known, famous.
Yeah.
The whole thing. All right. So here we go. First person on the list. Is Giselle Bryant known or famous?
Is there a different option other than known?
Excuse me.
I'm just saying.
Don't do this to me. Pick known or famous.
I really wish there was a different option. Like, barely there.
Like terrible. Okay, let's start with Robin. Oh, same
you gonna
thing,
pick
right?
her sidekick?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Forget them. Let's start with Wendy.
Oh my goodness. God, have mercy. Okay. Wendy. Wendy is known. She is known. She is known. At least in the Bravo universe, she is known. And then when she's not famous?
Really?
Wendy is not famous. And no, she is not famous.
She is known. Yeah, you're
right. She is
right.
known. If you see anchors that have anchored with her know her. The spaces, she's known, right? Maybe not well known, but she is known.
Okay, cool. Wendy is known. All right, I can agree with you. All right, Candace.
My Candy girl. I love my Candy girl.
I know you do.
That's my baby girl.
I know you do.
I know her. Okay. I think that's what matters.
But the thing is, because of her music, that's why I was saying, like, Candace, I believe she performed at the pre-Grammy Awards. I could be wrong. But she's been to the Grammys, the BET Awards, the whole nine. True. So, like, does that make her famous?
No, it doesn't make her famous because she's still working her way up, right? So I think currently she is known.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Andy
Cohen.
Well,
Now, I think like Andy Cohen can walk in spaces around Northeast America and people will know him. So he's famous in that way. I don't think that he's not famous in terms of he can go anywhere in the world and people will know that this is Andy. No, I think he's known.
I don't think I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say that Andy is famous specifically because he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Girl,
doesn't mean that I like him.
How many people have stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Doesn't mean that I like him.
Who the heck they are.
I don't think that Andy can walk into a grocery store and be just.
No, I actually think he can. He looks like any regular white guy.
Yeah, but just because he looks like any regular white guy does not mean
my Stop and Shop over here. He can walk into my Stop and Shop over here,
and he won't be Andy Cohen.
People will not know who he is. I guarantee you.
You can say that about anybody, though.
Like who?
Anybody. You could say, in a certain part of the world, there are people that don't know Beyonce. There are people. Actually, the new generation may not even care for who, like, Beyonce or whatever. Yeah, seriously, they may not care for who these people are because Beyonce is really big with the millennial generation. So you could really say that for anybody. All right, this is what I thought it was funny. SK.
Why even pick that person? I don't get it.
I was like, I wonder what Marilyn's gonna say. Is SK known or famous? Oh my goodness. Is SK known or famous?
He's known on Instagram.
He's not famous after this scandal.
On TikTok, maybe.
It's so funny because I feel like after the whole like SK debacle happened, I was putting on my story. People that don't even watch Love Is Blind were like in tune with what was going on, or trying to be in tune with what's going on. It was hilarious.
Wow.
But anyways, okay, that's it. I wanted to push your buttons a little bit.
I appreciate not.
All right, let's get into it. So RHOP reunion part 2.
Let me lean back,
girl,
so that I can.
What did you think? I was disappointed in this reunion. I walked away feeling disgusted. But I'd love to know what you thought.
Big word, disgusting.
It is, and I use it intentionally.
Well, I was honestly. I mean, I as much can be told by my demeanor currently. I mean, it's been quite a long day, but still,
yeah.
I was really truly underwhelmed. I thought certain decisions that were made regarding certain conversations were poorly made decisions. We won't start it off, but like even conversation concerning colorism and what was going on. I also felt that conversation was a little bit. It was a little bit too late to be had. It should have been had earlier. Not like it couldn't continue, but I feel like the way in which a conversation was, supposed to occur, like it should have been had much earlier when those, accusations of colorism were, coming out. Yeah. So I thought the decisions behind that particular segment, I did not like the decision. But then also a lot of the other things that were going on in the episode, the moderation was not great. Not enough people were held to the fire, for the things that they did during this season. And it often felt like, okay, here we're going to just talk about the story that happened this season. And then, okay, we're moving on. Like there was no continuity. There was no accountability. There was nothing had on the parts of the individuals that were involved in each of the segments, especially when especially when it's such a serious conversation surrounding like assault, surrounding colorism and the differences that are very apparent in this group of women. Yeah,
I absolutely agree. Sorry, are we talking in reference to just the reunion as a whole or the conversation about colorism? I want to be sure that I'm being very
what do you agree with, though? Like,
I agree with all of what you said, both in the aspect of the reunion as a whole and in regards to the conversation about colorism. Specifically about the conversation around colorism, I was disappointed as a chocolate baddie myself. Yes. I was disappointed in that conversation. And let me start by saying this. I do not, Lord, how do I want to make sure that I phrase this correctly. Okay. Andy, I will say props to him for removing himself from that conversation.
Sure.
And acknowledging that he, as a white man, is in no place to facilitate or moderate a conversation of that magnitude.
Right.
However, I am not happy with their network, their producers, whatever, for giving the decision to the women on that cast to not have a moderator. I'm not happy with the fact that they gave the women a decision to not have a moderator or someone to facilitate that discussion.
Hold on, I'm gonna clap.
You agree? Yeah. Yeah. Because I felt like there were a lot of missed marks and a lot of things that were very, very uncomfortable for me to watch. And the fact that I timed it, they only gave this segment 5 minutes. Wow. And because while I understand that as an editor or producer, that this is a reunion, you only have 3 parts to get all of what happened in like a 12-hour day into basically 3 hours of whatever. I understand, which is why the conversation should not have been had on the reunion stage in that platform to begin with. Yeah. Give it a special after the reunion. Yeah. You guys are comfortable giving Robin a special to tell all of her lies.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was very, very frustrating for me to watch. There were so many missed marks, and because they had missed these marks, I felt triggered. I felt triggered. And I'm like, I'd rather actually just not watch. I'd rather not see this. So yeah, I have a bunch of notes on that conversation and how that went.
Yeah, I think that's probably, the most important part of this entire reunion. And then second is Wendy's assault and the way that went. I completely agree with you on everything that you are saying. And as I was watching the reunion, I just felt that it was just like plopped in there.
The colorism conversation.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like it was just like, we're going to like insert colorism conversation here so that check mark, we have had the discussion and Andy, great. Taking a step back, I know there had to have been multiple conversations had where, it was that he needs to not insert himself into this conversation, and I'm glad that he obliged, but he could have also just left the space. But then also number 2, I also feel that they should have had a moderator. Like 1,000%. They should have had a moderator because these women are not capable. I'm not going to say not all of them, but like with the exception of Wendy, Candace, and the Grand Dame, which she did a great job.
I was so proud of Karen.
Oh my goodness.
I was so proud of her because and low key, a little bit proud of Ashley. Because I was waiting for Ashley to say, I acknowledge the fact that I have privilege. Acknowledge it. Very proud of Karen too. Very proud of Karen.
Absolutely. Because the main thing, the one thing that made me say that, like, I think the women maybe, sometimes it is better that a person who, just like in the conversations of racism sometimes, it is not the Black person who's oftentimes going to reach into the white person, right? To understand how they are treating a subset of people and how what they're doing are causing this type of harm. Oftentimes it is a person who is of your same race, right? that is an ally to the cause, that can in many ways redirect you to understand, you know, what's going on. And I think in this way, Karen did such a great job of it, as her being of the light-skinned persuasion, to be able to say the first thing we ought to do is listen to what Candace said. She says she is feeling a way. We have to acknowledge her feelings, right? That took it above the level for me with Karen in terms of like, beautifully said and beautifully done, right? And knowing this, I don't care if somebody has gone to an HBCU, a PWI, if you came out with multiple different degrees. I don't care. The one thing is, if you're not an expert in having these particular conversations surrounding race, racism, colorism, and all of the intersectionalities that are involved in what we call racism and in what we call American history and how that's undergirdled in that, you can't have that discourse amongst yourselves. You need an individual who is well-versed in this topic, who can objectively provide great analysis by watching what's going on in the room, and somebody who not necessarily is evoking their thoughts, but who is facilitating the conversation. When they facilitate the conversation, that enables individuals to be able to drive at their own prejudices, right? They need to unearth those things, dig them out, and then be able to see like, oh, I didn't know that this is what I meant by when I said this. I didn't know that when I acted this way, that this is exactly like what it was actually alluding to. Because what these women are suffering from, and for many light-skinned people, and this is not to say that anyone is playing victimhood or anything of that nature. Whenever I look at something that happens in society, I'm always looking at the foundational element of how that thing started and how it was created. And for these women on this show, they have intentionally ostracized Wendy. They have intentionally and categorically made Candace to be, even though Candace has her own personality and her behaviors, but making what she does to seem even more significantly worse than what other women do. And the thing that must be understood is that there is a subconscious bias that is playing out continuously in their interactions with one another. You may not be aware of it, just like how a lot of white people they say, oh, I didn't intend to do X, Y, and Z. You may be well-intentioned, but your impact is greater than your intention, right? And that impact that you're having is coming from a place somewhere you don't even understand where it is coming from, but you are acting on it. In many ways, you're pushing that ideology forward. And that is what those women are not able to acknowledge or understand. And hence why I say they needed a moderator. They needed someone. They needed it. And so,
they absolutely needed it. And I want to say, you literally took the words right out of my mouth, because I was quite literally about to just say that it's interesting because when I listen to a lot of different people and their opinions on this conversation regarding colorism and the women of Potomac, I see a lot of Black people saying that they do not feel that what is happening is an example of colorism, specifically because they don't think that Wendy is being treated the way that she is because she's a dark-skinned woman. Granted, that may be true at face value. However, the problem is, it's not that she is being explicitly ostracized because she's dark. She's a dark-skinned woman. It's because of the subconscious biases that are at place here that cause you to react to Wendy very differently than you react to Mia. 1,000%. That is the issue. For Mia to display all of this ferocious and heinous behavior in public, and she is coddled and cushioned while she gets to call Wendy ghetto. That is what we talk about when we say this is colorist. Correct. You may not, like you said, have intended it to be colorist, correct, right? However, because of that subconscious bias that you have towards this woman is being aggressive, and you have labeled her as such because of the way that she's able to articulate herself, absolutely, because of the way that she's able to also defend herself, right? So we also have some tone policing that's at play, absolutely, here. And this, I want to say, very subconscious loathing that these light-skinned women have towards dark-skinned women, that anytime someone like Wendy or Candace, and to some aspects, even though she's light-skinned, Monique, if they are able to defend themselves in a way that makes them look stupid because they're not able to uphold and have the same wherewithal, the intellectual wherewithal that Wendy, Candace, and all of them have, all of a sudden they are public enemy number one. One thing that really, really, really bothered me, and I think really triggered me in this conversation was Mia tapping into white fragility. That pissed me off. Pissed me off. The fact that she is able to tap into using her tears, was a complete example of white fragility. And say that because she is raising a dark-skinned child, same thing with Giselle, that is the reason why they cannot be colorist. I need everyone to hear and understand. Slave owners had black babies. And the dynamics were still at play. You having a dark-skinned child does not exclude you from what is at play and the things and the actions that you are doing that are damaging and harmful to other people. That made me really, really upset. And I agree with you. This is the reason why they did need to have a moderator, because I believe that these types of things need to be called out.
Absolutely.
Candace cannot do it. And if you notice, Wendy was very subdued.
Oh, she was. Yeah, she was.
She was very subdued. And I'm questioning why. For me, I can understand the exhaustion with continuously having to explain this. You are not nobody's teacher in this room. So you don't have to explain anything that you don't want to, right? It's their job to actually take that mantle up and learn for themselves. So I can understand if that's the reason, or if it's also a fear of no matter what I say, it's not going to be met well with these women, especially the three dimwits, Robin, Giselle, and Mia. So I completely understand. And I'm wondering after leaving this conversation, because there seemed to be some little modicum of acknowledgement, and is that enough? Is acknowledgement in these conversations, is acknowledgement ever enough?
No, it's not. And it as it comes with one of my very favorite sayings is the best apology is changed behavior. I don't care if you say sorry 1,000 times. I need to see the behavior change. And so this little 5-minute segment, I think also, I agree with you. They should have had an after the reunion special on this. Why? Because somebody did bring up a good point that I was listening to earlier, indicating that, Real Housewives of Potomac is heavily digested and consumed by Black viewers, right? So what a slap in the face in many ways to say that we are only going to give this segment, this little moment here, a little tap. Oh, here we did this, when we know this is a very real conversation that needs to be had within the community. And especially because it's not just about what's happening within the circle of these women. It's also about the way in which the viewers are reacting about what these women do, right? The villainization that happens with Candace, that happens with Wendy, and how we continue to make them seem like they are the worst of the worst whenever they do certain things. But then Mia can lie from Timbuktu to,
Jerusalem,
down south, wherever she's going. And Giselle can say this and she'll get away with it or whatever. And no. Like, this is very important for this community and our community, this meaning our community, to have a conversation about. And I thought that, it was poorly done. It was poorly done. You cannot leave a conversation this hefty, this important, this major to be had amongst women who a lot of them don't have the vernacular. They don't have the vocabulary. They don't have the comprehension yet, right? To understand what their actions are actually saying. Right? And where those things are coming from. Right? So you can't leave it up to them. So, and Wendy being subdued, it could be exactly what you're talking about. I have felt it many times when I'm in a space and I have to constantly talk about this again and again. Like, you're almost fighting the inner rage inside of you. Yeah. So you just have to just hold it in until you can, like, find a place to say that one thing you want to say, and then just,
only for them to continue to negate your experience.
Exactly. And I just want to say that, Giselle is a disappointing human being to me. She often, the storyline, she brought her father, I'm a daughter of a civil rights, pioneer and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, you are a disappointment, because one thing that you ought to have known and learned is that you have to understand that our experiences matter. And you just tried to quiet Candace in what she is saying in her experience. And mind you, this was somebody that was your friend back in the Giselle, right? So she is such a disappointment to me. Like, a complete disappointment. And I think we will have another like discourse or something of that nature about this. But this wasn't good. This wasn't good.
It wasn't at all. And I know we could speak for hours forever. And hours on end on this topic. And I have so many more things to say about, like, the missed moments from this conversation. But I think we understand the point at this point. They don't understand the point. So, all right.
But then also, like, Dee, like, I want to, leave it with the audience and also with us, what does that mean about our continuous support of this nonsense?
If they don't
understand what is happening and what's going on.
That's a big question. And it's a really, really good question. And it's a big question.
Yeah, I'm
going to have to sit with it a little bit, because it's funny. I think the initial thing that came to my mind was what I was sitting and thinking about as you were talking is the people that are running this network are not even equipped to recognize this, this type of behavior to begin with, right? It's only because the audience has responded in the way in which they did that is the reason why it's being brought up now. But it's been happening for seasons.
Yeah.
And it's not only on RHOP.
No, it's
you know what I mean?
Beverly Hills.
Right. So, but Beverly Hills, they don't get a segment on why they are being racist towards Garcelle. You know what I mean? RHOD, what's that one? Real Housewives of Dallas.
Yeah.
They did not get a segment about the racism that was going on there. Like, quite blatantly, like, if you go on Twitter, like, wild things were being said towards this Asian woman. So it's I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit with that a little bit. But anyways, please do actually let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. We'd love to hear them. I guess there's not really much to talk about with this reunion outside of sorry, it's just really disappointing as I'm like reading the notes that I took. And I guess the assault that was hurled on Wendy. Yeah. I'm just so disgusted with the hatred. Because it's hatred at this point.
Yeah, of course.
That Giselle, Robin, and Mia have for Wendy. I don't understand the producers that they have. And why come no one has had they're allowed to ostracize Wendy, a cast member on the show. If you remember, whatever season it was, that Candy and Portia, they had their beef because of the accusations that Portia had hurled at Andy. Great. So if you remember, the season after that, Candy had invited Portia to something. I don't know what. She invited her an event that she was doing. Mm-hmm. And Andy had asked her, if you don't like her, why did you invite her? Candy specifically said, because she's a cast member on the show. Mm-hmm. So that told me personally that there's a certain standard with invitations and things like that on cast, things that are filmed or whatever, that they have to invite everybody to or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. So if that's the standard, then why is Giselle, Robin, and Mia allowed to behave in this manner towards Wendy? I believe that the producers also do not like Wendy for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the editing showed that this season. I don't feel like they gave Wendy a really good cut. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It seems very weird. Mia.
Girl, there is just, I want Mia gone. I'm so sorry. For anybody who's a Mia fan, God bless you. Because I don't know. I just want her gone. She does not need to be on the television screen. She's got a lot to work on. She is an incomplete person. Something is wrong with her. Completely.
Do you know that not one person apologized to Wendy?
Not one.
And this woman, I actually was tearing up as she was crying. Tearing up watching this woman cry. Because at this point, it's how much can she take? She has been bullied by these women.
Absolutely.
Bullied by Mia. Bullied by Robin. Bullied by Giselle. Charisse, too. I don't even know why Charisse has beef with her. I guess it's just association beef. Bullied by these women and has stood tall. Finally, she's saying, I am strong and I can take a lot. But what you did was messed up.
Messed up. It was.
It was messed up.
No, it was.
Still in that. They're still trying to negate her experience.
Yeah, and I think, we said before, the reason Wendy came at Giselle and Robin is because Giselle and Robin came for Wendy.
For Wendy.
And she was defending herself. It is like telling me that if somebody comes to physically fight me and put their hands on me, you're telling me that I should just lay there and cower and allow them to do that. No, I am going to fight back. And what Wendy did was she fought back with her words, and she cut you with the thing that was going to hurt you, the most, right? Yeah. But if you didn't, anyway. So yeah, for them, the producers, they must not like Wendy. We don't know why. Andy must not like Wendy. Don't know why. But what I want to say to Bravo is shame on Bravo, right? Because you tout the fact that you don't condone violence.
Lies.
Whenever it comes to violent behavior that happens on New Jersey, that has happened on Potomac, that has happened on Beverly Hills,
Atlanta,
and anything. Mm-hmm. Oh, we don't condone violence. Violence does not only have to be physical. There is a violence that is happening emotionally right now to somebody who is continuously being ostracized in a group. Mind you, we are not necessarily friends who are kikiing it when we go outside. No, we are coworkers. Can you imagine coming to work and being ostracized at work? For everybody out there who knows exactly what that feels like, it is not a great feeling, but also it is a psychologically defeating one.
Yes.
That in and of itself is a violent attack on someone's mental health. It is a violent attack on her emotional health. That is violence that they perpetrated against this woman.
They're very ferocious.
Very ferocious. And even showing the clips that they had to show about what happened to her that day. And none of you 50-something, 40-something year old biddies could acknowledge that what occurred that day should never have happened to anyone's daughter, to anyone's child, to anyone's sister, to anyone's mother.
But anyone's person.
And for me, I'm getting riled up because this incident pissed me off.
It's incredibly triggering.
It's so triggering. And it's like, and this is one of, and I don't care what people will say when I say this. Wendy is higher than this show. She is more than this show. She needs to go. Like, I want her to be successful and go because for me, the caliber of woman that she is, she cannot be on this show.
Yeah.
Because what is happening, like, just like how we say, oh, whenever Mia says something to you, Wendy, we just wish you would just be quiet. Don't even give her any attention, right? Because what we know is that Wendy's, the caliber of woman that Wendy is, she need not say a word to any of these buffoons. I'm so sorry to call you all buffoons, but really the way you are behaving is so bad. And bravo for you not even putting these women's feet to the fire to apologize to this woman. Oh
my goodness.
To acknowledge the wrong that was done. You guys are saying that as a company, that this is the type of behavior that you accept. So from here on out, if we see anything else that resembles anything that happened to Wendy,
no, that's
you're telling your viewers that it is okay for y'all to behave this way. It is pathetic.
You can see it. You can see it in the way that Andy questions some of these women versus the way that he questions Wendy. And I wrote this down. It says Andy has a conciliatory approach to Giselle with anything that she does wrong.
Absolutely.
In the way that he questions her. But it's very direct and straight to the point with anybody else.
Yep.
They simply asked Giselle, you felt uncomfortable with Chris, right?
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Yeah. We should. We absolutely should.
Mm-hmm.
She said, yeah, I did. Okay, Wendy felt uncomfortable by Mia. Well, no, it's not the same. Why do you guys keep on asking Giselle these types of questions? Why can't you ask her why she is so contradictory and being completely inconsistent? Robin, inconsistent. Mia, inconsistent. Giselle called you an embezzler. In case you did not know, that she is accusing you of criminal activity, Miss CEO.
Who lost her company, even though she's the CEO. She's probably the marketing director or something.
She is. That's what she is.
And
so Giselle accused you of being an embezzler. Your friend labeled you. Everyone knows that when you watch these shows, all you got to do is throw one label out there with your name, and you know that there's going to be a subconscious association that is created with that label. So now we think of Mia, we think embezzler. Wendy, you attacked her. You assaulted her. And you can't even say, I'm sorry?
After 1 year, a year has passed. After
and
one
then Robin, year. You're defending your actions. Giselle, you're defending your actions. And what gets me is your reasoning is, I don't like Wendy.
It's pathetic. You know, this is one thing I want to say to Giselle and Robin. I wish on Watch What Happens Live when they had asked you about this whole entire scenario and Robin was like, it's a drink. It's a drink. It's not even like anything. Blah, blah, blah. I wish somebody would have splashed a drink on y'all's faces, like really aggressively done it the way that Mia had. Would it really have just been, oh, it's a drink, it's okay? The rationale and the reasoning is piss poor, to say the least. It is piss poor. And what I just want to say, I hope that none of this happens to any of your daughters. I hope that none of this happens to any of your children, because I would really love to see exactly how you would behave when it comes to it happening to a member of your family. this is it's wild. It's wild. And a part of me thinks, and I do believe that these women came up with this scheme to make Wendy a pariah this season. Why? Because
especially at this reunion.
Not even especially, but like just in the whole entire thing. The thing is, when I watched that video again, that they were doing the recap of it, and Robin smiling and telling Wendy to either be violent or shut up. And then also just when the drink was thrown, you understand? When the drink was thrown, none of those women flinched. None of them. Like, Diana, really look at it. The ones that were across the table did not flinch.
No. Like Mia, she's a pick-me, and she is the type of person that will she will do these actions and do these things like throw a drink, just engage in violent behavior, engage in verbally violent behavior, accusatory behavior, because she knows that she has the backing of Giselle and Robin. So she is a person that when she feels emboldened and empowered to do something, she will go full force. I think she grew up being the class clown, and she thought that like that's how she was able to gain acceptance from the people around her. I think she has a very skewed version of relationships. You get what I'm saying? She's that that type of behavior, that type of person that they will, do actions to get the acceptance of others, not knowing those people are actually laughing at you and not with you. That's
because Mia. Guess what? This coming season, Mia, you're the next one to come to be attacked.
I believe it.
Like you are the next one.
I believe it. If she's here.
Gosh, I have a feeling she might be, but I really hope that she's not.
Yeah, because Bravo does condone violence.
Bravo,
allegedly.
You do condone violence.
Sorry, allegedly.
No. It's not alleged.
Yep, allegedly.
There's no, in our opinion, you condone violence.
You're right. In my opinion, Bravo, you condone violence.
You condone viilence.
Allegedly.
And there are a lot of young teenage kids that also watch this show. Can you imagine their prefrontal cortexes haven't even completely developed yet, and then they're taking in all of this media, and this is exactly how they're going to behave. We think about the young woman, is it Shanquella, right? Who was taken with her friends, and the next thing you know, she ended up murdered. I mean, Wendy was taken
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Like Wendy was taken to a cast trip, blindsided,
and was assaulted.
And for anybody who thinks that she was not assaulted, go look at the definition in the dictionary, or go ask somebody who actually knows what assault is, or who has been in jail for actually committing assault. Right?
Yeah.
If you can do one little thing, such as like even trying to lunge towards a police officer, that's assault. Like you've done that, right? But like literally, like when you have invaded someone's space and you have engaged in an actual physical attack, not once did she do it. She did it twice, throwing whatever the heck she threw that made Wendy like dodge like that.
Yeah.
No. That's assault. And at the end of the day, I really do believe Mia should have gone to jail.
Yeah. At
the end of the day, because again, think about it. We are in a work setting and you assaulted me at work as well. That's just the inclusion of it. You assaulted me at work. Somebody needs a reprimand. This is in my workplace. Can you imagine something like that happening to you at your job? And no one being reprimanded for it? And every day you have to walk into work being reminded that your victimizer continues to walk free.
No, I get it. It's
weird.
It's honestly very disgusting.
It's weird.
It's very, very disgusting. And for Mia to not only not apologize, but then throw a heinous, baseless accusation at Wendy, talking about, I have receipts that you tried to give Peter the cookie. Ma'am, at this point,
I wish
you're
Wendy
making a complete fool of yourself.
Show the receipt. Let's see what you got.
Girl,
because we know you don't have anything. Because she
has nothing.
She makes up lies as quick as the gas comes out of her butthole. Like,
I really do think that she was coached by Giselle on this reunion. I think like Giselle called her beforehand and said, whatever you do, do not apologize and admit to any wrongdoing when it comes to Wendy. Yeah, I think that's truly like what happened. Because we saw Giselle on Wendy's first season. She went to her room and she's like, "Oh, the name of the game is you throw the curveball before they do." Like, so she was like coaching Wendy on like how to be at the reunion, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. I think that definitely Giselle was coaching Mia on this reunion. But
what a terrible
whatever.
Coach.
I'm done.
Terrible coach.
I'm done.
Hey, let's be done.
Yes. I'm tapped out on Potomac for this episode. I was very, very disgusted. Just a nasty feeling in my gut with this episode. But please let us know what you think, and especially in regards to that colorism conversation. I'd like to hear what other people have to say, because to be very honest with you, our opinion is not the majority from what I have personally heard on different platforms, which I find to be quite interesting in the year 2023. But yes, please let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think. And we are happy to hear them. We will definitely be tapping into the last and final reunion, where I think they will give Robin a platform to tell her lies.
One point I just want to make is, I don't know why Karen is the first seat, because it doesn't make sense. like there's nothing happening with Karen this season, like at all. But secondly, this whole thing about Giselle feeling uncomfortable, the semantics of it all, right? Feeling uncomfortable. Like the thing that he did to her was make her feel uncomfortable. We gotta like.
That doesn't sound like a Chris problem. Like
in my brain,
sound like a Chris problem.
It doesn't at all. In my brain, I'm like, there's plenty of things people can do to make one feel uncomfortable. Doesn't mean that the person made you.
I could take off my wig right now and you'd be uncomfortable.
And you'd be uncomfortable, right? Because there's something that happened with you somewhere in your life that has caused you this discomfort. And then this one thing that happens all of a sudden ignites that again. So why? And I also want to say to all the viewers who think that Candace made this a bigger deal than what it ought to be, trust and believe. You come from my husband. You come from my husband and come for his character and the way in which he behaves. Like, it's not about making a bigger deal. I'm going to make you really eat your words, right? And Giselle, you made it a bigger deal. You brought it onto the show. You expanded this and brought it onto the show, and then you called on your little minions, Robin, and you told her, "Oh, Robin, you can disagree with me, but keep bringing it up. Oh, bring it up to Mia in one scene. Bring it up to Ashley in another scene. Ashley brings it up back again. Like, you guys concocted this to make this woman behave in a way that you think would have made you guys look like you guys were the winners, but you guys ended up being the losers of this season wholeheartedly. Yeah. Wholeheartedly.
They don't see themselves that way.
And Mia opening up her mouth to defend. I was like, girl, shut up. And I was exactly so happy when Candace was like, shut up. That made me so happy. I was so happy. Like, I was like, that's right.
Yeah, how are you defending the woman that literally just, I'm not going to get over this. She just called you an embezzler.
Like,
that's crazy. Like me. Okay. We used to both be like, we both used to be in education.
Yes.
Right? Imagine someone coming from nowhere to say in a staff meeting, you're a child abuser.
Shaneka.
You feel what I'm saying though?
Oh my goodness.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-mm.
The accusation alone, it doesn't even have to be true. We have seen, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We have seen accusation alone done. Damaging. Before they even do an investigation into anything. Damaging.
Correct.
So this woman just called you a criminal.
On national television.
Defending her.
Defending her like she is your blood-born sister.
Mia, you don't have, oh Lord, no brain. All right, I'm really, really done with Potomac. So, please let us know your thoughts per usual. And, like, share, subscribe, and, Yeah, I don't know, but y'all have a good one. Thank you all so much for listening in to Reality Check, where tea is served and checks are dispersed. Yes. All right, y'all have a good one. Bye.